And defence is clearly facing a lot of ambiguity, a lot of uncertainty, both in the very nature of its business, but also in terms of the way its organisation has to work in order to achieve government's aims. And we know that in that kind of environment, we don't have simple answers. Leaders are no longer in a situation, and arguably they haven't been for a long time, but they're certainly no longer in a situation now where they know the answer to complex problems. Quite the opposite. The leaders are often having to draw on people in other parts of the organisation. The concept of people who are at higher levels know more is fundamentally flawed now. That is not true. So for leaders who have been really used to authority, leaders who rely on their authority, they rely on being able to follow a process, that's how they get things done. Now they have to move to a situation where they can specify and articulate an outcome. They can't rely on the process anymore. They have to change the way things happen. And that's very challenging for somebody who's only ever grown up with technical expertise. So leaders are increasingly being asked to step up, to truly lead, to use their influence, not their authority, to use the practice of leadership, not their position of leadership, and to set directions where the direction is not clear. And then find a way and help their team to actually handle that ambiguity, handle the fact that we can't clearly articulate where we're going to get. And we certainly can't articulate a clear path there. So that calls on leaders to have quite different skill sets. And importantly, it calls on leaders who have very high levels of self-awareness. Very high levels of self-awareness. So the challenge for leadership development as we move forward is really about how do we help people to develop the self-awareness that allows them to step outside of their process hat, outside of the rules, and be able to create a new future and then motivate and help their people through to get to that future. So where we see some really impressive work being done by leaders who are looking to really expand their capability and grow their capability in the light of these changes in the demand on them. We see some really fascinating examples of where people have been prepared to put aside the need to perform all the time, to really listen and to learn from everyone around them. And by hearing everyone's voices and learning from the people around them, they're able to collaborate, they're able to facilitate a solution. And the real advantage of that is that people have been involved in the solution, they're more likely to own it, they're more likely to live it. So a lot of that comes through people taking a good look at themselves, people getting some self-awareness around how they impact, how they interact with other people, learning how to catch themselves in the moment when they're doing something that's stifling collaboration, that's stifling innovation, and being able to just start to operate in quite a different way. So fundamentally and ultimately it's a behavioural change, but what we know is that there needs to be a really deep examination of your own behaviour and a self-awareness around your own behaviour that's going to allow you to be successful in this kind of environment. On the battlefield, clearly there is a need for people who can give and a need for people who can take orders. However, outside of that kind of environment, and possibly there are others, the need for leadership now is much more about collaborative problem solving, collaborative creative solutions towards problems and towards achieving success.